Loading. Welcome to Access the Animus.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new video here on Access the Animus. Yes, you might have seen it in the title. There is a rumor, or better, some leaked dialogues that seemingly imply that Kassandra might appear at some point in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In the video, we're going to show you and discuss all the information that were found in the game files by YouTuber Jonathan, so even if all of this might never end up in the game at all, we still issue a spoiler warning here, in case you prefer to avoid ruining the surprise for yourself. But if you're actually interested in all of the details, sit tight, as we're going to report on Jonathan's finds, including a starter dialogue featuring Valka, where the devs seem to be playing on the resemblance of Randvi and Kassandra, a potential encounter between Eivor and Kassandra in the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and some references to keys and artifacts. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it, subscribing to our channel and turning the notifications on so you won't miss any of our future updates. And with that out of the way, let's dive into this new set of rumors about Kassandra in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So as we mentioned earlier, YouTuber Jonathan, with the help of even more users and friends, was able to find in the game files of Assassin's Creed Valhalla a series of lines that put together seem to hint at a future potential quest involving Kassandra, the main character of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Of course you can find the full video in the description, and I suggest you check it out if you speak French to find out more about the context of this rumor. Now, as usual, at this point you should know how this goes. What we're about to discuss might not end up in the actual game with this form, or even end up in the game at all. Jonathan, for example, mentioned he found some files and dialogues from Origins and Odyssey's main games that are very likely not to end up in Valhalla, so that once again means that not everything mentioned in the game files will have a tangible counterpart in the game. Nonetheless, Jonathan was able to put together many of the lines of this presumed quest, where indeed it seems that Eivor is going to meet Kassandra and their encounter might lead to some differences of opinion and possibly a fight. Moreover, what we're going to see is just the start of the quest, which apparently will further develop and reach a dedicated ending, which is not featured in the files shared by Jonathan, possibly to avoid spoilers. Also, before we start, as mentioned by Jonathan, the dialogues in the game files are apparently all mixed up, so the reconstruction created by him might not be the final version of the dialogues themselves. Some lines might be missing, the order of the lines might not be the final one, and so on. Nonetheless, it is a pretty well done reconstruction, and it does show that at least at some point Kassandra was thought to appear in the game. So the quest apparently starts with a character named Edith who reaches Ravensthorpe to warn about some events happening on an island close to England where apparently Randvi was spotted. According to Jonathan's reconstruction, we have this dialogue between Valka, Eivor and Edith, which starts with Valka saying, "Ahead of yourself as always, Edith. Eivor, Edith is an old friend and a seer who's come from Skye Island," to which Eivor answers, "I wasn't aware people set in on Skye," and it continues like that. Edith has been writing to me for advice. Her people are being plagued by strange nightmares to the point of sleep deprivation and madness. What brings you here now? Edith needs your help on Skye, and it's not just Skye Island that's being affected, Eivor. Our settlement is starting to have its own issues with similar nightmares. So whatever is causing this is spreading. I will help, but it's not as if I have experience chasing away bad dreams. There is more. You're not going to like this, Eivor, but I believe somehow Randvi is involved, perhaps even responsible. Valka, you know I trust your wisdom, but Randvi is my friend. How could she threaten the settlement like this? Ever since the nightmare started here, I began asking the spirits for clarity and a vision came to me. Though it was cloudy, I know what I saw. You will find Randvi amidst a scene of death on Skye Island. The two of you will fight before you're forced to part ways forever. Valka, you've gone really mad this time. Randvi would never do something like this, nor could she. She's always here. Believe it or don't, it is your choice. The only way you'll find the truth and stop the nightmares from plaguing our settlement is if you go to Skye Island. I must tend to my duties, but Edith can take you when you're ready. That's basically the introduction to the quest, which shows that the island in question is the Isle of Skye, which is located very close to Scotland's shores. The interesting part here, as noted by Jonathan, is that supposedly the devs will play with the fans' very frequent comments about Randvi's resemblance with Kassandra, and the countless questions about whether Randvi was indeed Kassandra, by making Valka see what she believes to be Randvi and thus pushing Eivor to investigate, which will eventually lead her to actually find Kassandra on the Isle of Skye. Jonathan also shared another set of reconstructed dialogues that apparently take place on the Isle of Skye between Eivor and indeed Kassandra, as a way to confirm that this encounter indeed might end up in the game. It starts with Kassandra stating, "You have no idea what you'd be dealing with, you need my help," and Eivor answering, "In the first ambush, those men seem to know you. Now they're speaking your language. How stupid do you think I am? These aren't coincidences." The dialogue then continues like this: "No, you're lying, I'm sure of it. No, that's all the more reason for me to remove it. You've done enough. I can't trust you, Kassandra." "Eivor, please, the powers of this artifact are unlike anything you've seen. I already have all the other keys, and if those men are after you, it'll be even easier for me to continue by myself." This is a slightly more confused dialogue than the first one, but it's also understandable. For example, there might be some additional lines in there that are now missing, or maybe there's a different order of the lines, but what matters here is that indeed Eivor might be meeting Kassandra, and that keys, and especially artifacts and pieces of Eden, might be actually involved. Also, it's going to be interesting to see how this will be presented to the fans. Jonathan describes this as a quest, but at the same time it does involve potentially a new map for the Isle of Skye, as he mentioned, and also an activity involving the search for keys, so maybe there will be more to this than it actually seems. Interestingly enough though, the files do indeed mention Kassandra as the character that survives with the Staff of Eden and potentially lives on to meet Eivor, once again proving, as it was stated in the main game as well, that Kassandra was indeed the canon main character known as the Eagle Bearer in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. At this point it should have been clear already, but I wouldn't be surprised to still find fans pretty confused, disappointed even, after playing several tens of hours in Odyssey's main game with Alexios and then potentially finding out Kassandra in Valhalla. But that, as it happens, is a story for another time. And that was it for today's video. What are your opinions about these shocking rumors? Would you like to see Eivor meeting Kassandra, or would you prefer Kassandra's character to be left untouched to avoid more lore inconsistencies? And if you did like to see Eivor and Kassandra, what would you like to see them talking about? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.